Hey everyone, it's Matt, aka Tech Ranger, and today we're going to be taking a look at the HP Omen 27k 4K 144Hz monitor. We're going to be looking at why this might be a good monitor for you, but then also go over the pros and cons because it is a little pricey. For the specs, it's actually pretty competitive. For me, I have a special use case for it, so I'm going to go over that in this video, and then you can determine by the end of it, hopefully, if this monitor is right for you, or if you just want to stick with what you have, because it might be perfectly fine for what you do already. And this is so you don't go out and spend all that money and then feel like you didn't get your money's worth or you didn't get what you paid for. With all that out of the way, let's take a look at the settings, the features, and some gameplay from this monitor and see if it's really all that it's cracked up to be. In this first section, let's just go over how this thing performs when you're actually trying to game with it. Now, on the Xbox, you can only get 4K 120Hz. If you want to turn that on in your settings, you can go over to your display settings. You're just going to want to make sure everything looks as it should. So 4K 120Hz, you want to make sure variable refresh rate is on. Now in my case, I actually was able to plug the HDMI cable from my Xbox to the monitor. Make sure it's that HDMI 2.1 port because that's what you need for 4K 120Hz. And it actually automatically just set everything up for me on the Xbox. But just in case it doesn't, now you know what to do in order to get there. You might also need to access these settings on the monitor, and you can get to those on the back right of the monitor. I actually like to position this. It's pretty easy to get to. Now, if the variable refresh rate option isn't showing up on your Xbox, the adaptive sync option under gaming should let the Xbox know the variable refresh rate is available. Now, these are my image settings. I have the brightness set at 80% because it is a pretty bright monitor. Probably wouldn't recommend going any higher than level 2 for sharpness. Color space, make sure it's on native because everything else just looks weird. Go up to gaming and then set your response time to at least 4. You don't want this too high because you might get some ghosting. Now, if you want to see how your game is actually performing if it sports 120Hz, you can actually turn the frame rate option on so you can see if your game actually is getting that full 120Hz on the Xbox. Going over the specs a little bit more, it does have NVIDIA G-Sync, but really all that you need to know for the Xbox is that it does allow you to get that variable refresh rate. IPS panels will appear a lot more vibrant and more colorful than a VA panel. The only downside is that the black levels might not be as good. However, on this monitor, I think they're actually pretty good. There are actually speakers on this monitor as well, and they're not bad if you turn on the video setting for the audio. Otherwise, they just sound really loud and tinny. It's going to sound a little tinny in this clip just because I recorded on my phone, but not bad for monitor speakers. So in my particular use case, I'm actually using this for work as well. I work a job that needs to have like a lot of windows open, so having something like a 4K monitor is very helpful for me because I can see things nice and sharp. With that said, I am on a Mac, so I do use the scaling feature to scale it to 1440p. This allows me to have enough screen real estate and then also be able to see things really sharp and clear. Everything seems to be fine so far after about a month of use, and the only critique I would have is that sometimes the picture actually drops out and it's just like a black screen for like a couple seconds and then it comes right back. I've only noticed this from time to time, and I mean it's like rare, but when I do notice it, it's only when I'm on my Mac. I've not had this issue on the Xbox. Another cool feature is this picture-in-picture mode. When you turn it on, the screen will go black for a few seconds and then your other input that you have active will actually pop up in another window. You can actually also change the position of this so you can move it in the different corners, and then there's also this picture-by-picture mode, which probably won't be super helpful, but for those of you who are connecting another computer to this monitor, it might be helpful to have like a split screen going on so you can see two windows at once essentially. Now, with most gaming accessories that go upwards of $400-$500, it better come with some RGB lighting, and this one does. It has this light around the back, and you can change this to a static color, or you can have these different modes almost like it's breathing and change colors, or it'll cycle through them all really fast if you really want that as well. And this is what those settings look like in the on-screen menu. Now, since I am on a Mac, gaming is not its strong suit, so I do have access to Fortnite, but that's a lot of space to actually go out and download and try. So the couple games I did try weren't very demanding, so they ran fine and I didn't see any dip on the frame rate counter. But if you have this monitor or have another HP Omen monitor, feel free to comment down below with your experience. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful for you in determining whether or not a 4K 144Hz monitor is right for you, and if this one would be one that you'd want to go for. For what it does, and the price that I got it at, it far exceeds my expectations of what a 4K 144Hz monitor is. Now with that said, you know, the Xbox Series X is also $500. That really knocks a lot of people out of the running for buying one of these, and if you don't have two use cases for it, in my case it's work and then play, it might not really be for you. But if you fall in that category or just have some extra cash laying around, this is definitely a good buy. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.